Anti-black racism in the US remains as violent and deadly as it's ever been. Over the last few years in particular, we've seen countless examples of unarmed black people being brutally murdered by white supremacists, usually wearing police uniforms, almost always evading accountability. Given this reality, you might think that some extra form of protection might have been given to black people, especially considering America's racist history, and given the anti-black shootings like the recent massacre in Buffalo. You might have heard about the case for reparations for foundational black Americans, those black people descended from slaves, and for the need for a special form of protection such as an anti-black hate crime bill. Unbelievably, none of these things have yet to happen, despite Joe Biden promising to have the backs of black Americans when he won the keys to the White House. And just to be clear, many other groups have received reparations for crimes their communities experienced as a result of America's deep-rooted history of racism. These groups include Japanese Americans, Native Americans, Alaskans, Jewish communities, and even slave owners. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Slave owners received reparations at the end of slavery for their loss of property. In fact, the only group yet to be paid reparations they are owed for hundreds of years of free forced labour were the slaves themselves, and therefore their living descendants alive today. Not only is this money owed, but land was guaranteed to former slaves at the end of the Civil War, which was never given to them. Modern white supremacy as a power structure is based on the stolen labour and murder of foundational black Americans and the inequality which exists to this day as a direct result of it. Likewise, plenty of groups have had hate crime legislation pushed and passed for them, including Asian Americans, the LGBT community, and recently a hate crime resolution passed for the Jewish community. An anti-black hate crime bill must become law in America and allocate resources for the fight against white supremacy. And reparations must be paid to black American descendants of slaves. And before you hear people claim that there's no money, remember that Joe Biden sent billions of dollars to Ukraine within the space of a few short weeks.